Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Third time trying to amp up my Jennifer McGuire skills, and this is going to be a card. We're going to be doing ghost stamping on craft cardstock. So we're going to be using, obviously, craft cardstock. I'm going to be using the greeting from My Creative Times called Many Greetings, and I'm going to be using the flowers from Avery, Elle, Petals, and Stems. And I did cut a couple masks in case I needed them. And we're going to be using Jennifer's favorite ink in the whole world, and I've come to believe that it's almost all she bases her cards around, and that is the Hero Art, the Unicorn White ink. So, with that being said, I did play with my inks a little bit to kind of look at how I wanted my pattern, and what I decided was I didn't like these other flowers, and I didn't like the leaves, so I think I'm just going to stick with the bigger flowers, and there's two other sizes of them. So I thought the first thing we do is just stamp some flowers and see how it goes. I'm going to open my cardstock, and I'm going to put my ink pad right on it, that way it holds it down. I sent my Misty back. If some of you didn't hear the story, I accidentally wiped the grid off of my Misty with some heavy-duty stamp cleaner, and so I contacted My Sweet Petunia, and they were so nice. They said, send it back and we'll get it right back to you with the new top on it. So lovely people. I'm so appreciative. I can't even tell you, because if you've been watching my videos, you know I barely can function without it anymore. I think I'm going to stamp one of these in the corner, one up a little bit, and then maybe one over this way. And this one's going to be stamped off the paper a little bit. If you don't do well when you stamp with this white pigment ink, you can always stamp back over it, and that's something I really like, especially since I don't have my Misty. Because you know, without my Misty, I'm lost. I'm going to do that last one right there. And I think for right now, that's all I'm going to do with those. And all I have on this baby washcloth is water, because, you know, obviously learned my lesson on that little problem. So I just am wiping off that stamp for now, because we're going to be needing it again. And then I'm going to go to the next size stamp. I got ink going everywhere. I'm going to move that one over there for now. This one is got a weird little edge to it, like the bottom of it, well, you'll see when I stamp it, the bottom of it is flat, so I almost want to stamp it so that the bottom of it either has a stem, which I already said I'm not into, or I stamp off the page with it. So I'm going to stamp it as low on the page as possible. I'm going to stamp a couple of those. Maybe one here. And I think I'm going to do one on the top corner over here. Hoping I'm still in frame. Let me make sure of that, because you know that makes me absolutely nuts. Yes, I am. I got to get my inks out of the frame though, because they're kind of in my way. Okay, so this one, let's see. Do I want to do another one of these? Maybe. No, I'm going to forget that big one and go with some smaller ones instead. I have a very tiny one of these flowers, and I'm going to put it in around everybody else. So it's teeny tiny, and we'll just stamp it where I don't have another flower. I'm going to be stamping the sentiment, and I'm going to be stamping other colors on this, so we really want to be cautious about making sure that I'm not stamping too many. Put one more right there. So before we go any further, I think I want to put my sentiment on, and I'm just going to put it, I guess I'm going to put it right in this section. And this is just a pouch that I filled with cornstarch. You can buy, you know, the custom made ones, but I don't feel the need. I would rather spend my money on fun crafty things, and that's not a fun crafty thing in my opinion. So I'm going to use some Versamark ink on it and make sure that I ink it really well. It's a sticky ink that's like glycerin and water, and I'm not sure what else, but that's what it is. And I have this huge long acrylic block, and I like it because I can kind of make sure that I'm straight with my whole like the actual rod on my paper, and hopefully it will be this time. The other thing that's nice about doing your sentiment now is that you can always fill around it. If I decide I need more flowers, I can put more flowers in there. And got a little spot there where it has some of my embossing in it, or the embossing ink, and I don't want to have anything show up. And we're going to use some Ranger white ink, or embossing powder. And I'll just tip it back into my bowl. And then all we need to do is heat set that. Now I like to, when I heat set mine, I like to turn my gun on and leave it on, but not anywhere near my image until I know it's hot, and then I like to put it on the back. And I'll show you this as I go. Got a little spot there where I have a little bit too much powder. If you have any stray pieces of the little flakes, just wipe them off with either a brush, or I do with the back of my hand, my fingers, and then I just kind of move the gun around in the back until I start to get my image heated. And I have better luck doing it that way because sometimes I have problems when I do it on the front. I overheat it, or I don't know what I do wrong, but sometimes when I do it face down, I don't know, burn it, whatever. So that's why I heat emboss from the back. There you have it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do our actual ghost stamping. And ghost stamping just means you're going to stamp a different color over what you already stamped and a little bit offset. It's very similar to the other cards that we've done in the last few days. So I've got my block, and I'm going to put my flower on so that I can see it really well and know that where it's lined up at. So I've got my idea of what where I want it on the block. I'm not good at matching colors, and so for people like me, they have these sets of stamps that when you keep them stored, you keep them apart like this, and then if you want to, you can push them together and make a gradient of color. But I'm still going to keep mine apart, and I'm going to try to just stamp on this dark end color. Just try to get one color on there. So I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to try and just stamp that one flower, and you can see through your image that you've got that stamp. Now, if I end up on that second one, it's not that big a deal. In fact, if I wanted to, I could, just kind of go across all of them. Maybe I will do that. Let's see what that turns out like if we just stamp a couple of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp them, and then I'm going to turn my stamp so that both colors kind of combine. That's what I'm trying for. Okay, so let's give this first one a shot. And I did move it just a little bit, and I'm going to hold it there for a second. See how the white, you can see the white around the edges because I moved it. So we'll try it again. And this time I'm going to go to the other end of my spectrum of colors, because now my, all my flowers won't be the exact same colors. These might be the exact ones. I can't remember which end of the, I'm going to go to that end. Can't remember which end of the set I used. Okay, so now I'm going to, again, a little bit offset. Not a ton. You just want to be enough offset that you can see that white around the edges. That one, you can see more of it. I like it. Okay. I'll go to the other one. Now I think I'm going to kind of use that center pink. Okay. Turn it. When I use the colors on the smaller flowers, I shouldn't have any problem at all using the individual colors. And again, really trying to transfer our ink, so we're going to hold it down. That one's a lot more offset. I don't care though. I still think it looks really neat. Okay, so that's the big flower. I can wipe that off. And we can always play more with that. It doesn't matter if we decide that we want to do something a little bit different. We can always play with our colors. And I'm going to do some, we're going to use our white colored pencil and do some with that as well. So, okay, I'm going to use, this time I think I'm just going to separate them. It'll be easier for me to know which colors I've used that way, because I'll be able to tell. Right? Right. Okay, so I guess I'm upside down naturally. Okay, and then I want to make sure. Let's see. Okay. Pushing as hard as I can. Okay. And I'm going to use the next color. I'm not sure how we could swatch these out to see what the color differential is, but I don't really know how different these colors are from each other. I just know that the company that made them thought they all went well together, so if they thought they did, then we're going to go with it. There's a little, it almost looks like a snowflake in the center of these, and I think what I'm going to do with that is put a little bit of Zig 2A glue on it, and once I've done that, I'm going to put a little bit of glitter on it, I think. I don't know for sure. That's what I'm thinking right now. Weird how these all look exactly the same color, don't they? Weird. Okay, now I'm going to go with this littlest one. I'm going to try the lightest pink and see how light pink is. I apologize again that my head's probably in every one of these, but that's kind of how it goes when you've got a big head and you have to overlook everything. That's a very light pink. I go to a darker pink. Go to this corner one. Okay. Gonna go to the darkest. Ooh, this is really dark. It's a pretty color. And I really offset that one too. Nifty. Go into the dark at the other end. Put it right beside it. Maybe it's the white that makes it so you can't really tell a big difference. Don't know. But you can't tell a big difference. Okay. Like I said, I think I'm going to put some highlights on these. I got my colored pencils out and I thought I would play with them a little bit. This lightest pink is just really too light, I think, so I'm going to darken it up a little bit. Okay, well, a little bit of smearing right there. You know what that means? I'm going to have to put another little flower there. Have to go in to fix that little mess. Jennifer McGuire says she never remakes a card. If she makes a mistake, she just fixes it. So, let's do something that will downplay the color. You know, like you got that color on there, so if we can come up with a way to kind of downplay it by putting the white on it first. It's almost completely hidden already. Now we'll have to dry that. Okay, put some of this medium pinkish color. Well, that's not bad. We're going to work around our colors. We're going to highlight with some white. So let's keep that separated because we want to put it away. So we'll get that out of our way. And I'll put this over here. Now, next thing we're going to do is, if you take a white Prismacolor pencil, just a basic colored pencil, and where you want to highlight around your image, like let's say here where I didn't really ghost image it that well, you can't see the white around it. Let's just, we'll add a little bit of this just to, just so you can see it. And same in here where the white is there, but it's not super white. So I think if we put a little bit of this on there, that will make it so that you can see it better. I'm going to do the same with the lines. Same around this flower. And again, when we do this, our goal is to highlight the areas that like there are lines on the flower stamp that are hard to see when you do the double stamping. So we'll just add a little bit more depth by putting in the white, and like where these lines are, where the petal lines are, we can add those in because they're not really there once you do the double stamping. So we'll just add a little bit. And I'm going to also, there's like a dark raspberry that came when I did the double stamping, and I think it makes sense that we add some of that raspberry in there because I think that raspberry really added a lot. So after we're done playing with this white, we'll add a little bit of that dark raspberry in because I like that a lot. I thought it really added a lot to our image. And then let's see that one. A little more around this one. A little more around that one. This one I almost completely lined up so there's hardly any white that you can see under it. Make sure I got my marks in. My petal marks. Okay. More around this one. Okay, I found a pencil that I really thought matched nicely. It's called Henna. Hard to believe that Henna would match this, but it definitely does. It really brings out that color that we're shooting for around the edges. Okay, I took a couple of my peg stamps. This is a Caladium leaf, and this is just a foliage leaf. This is smaller, and this is much, much bigger. I thought what I would do is lay down my mask that I made for the big flower and mask around it so that I have everything where I need it to be, you know, when I do make my leaf. I think I'm going to put my leaf, oops, it's a little bit off. Put my leaf like right. And I'm using Old Olive, no, Always Artichoke Stampin' Up ink, and I might add some more color to that when I'm done. I'm lining up my leaf so that the stem is right on the I have that little line that tells me where to stamp it, and it makes it so much easier so that you know exactly where you want to put your stamp. I don't know if I want to stamp one there. Now I'm going to get that out of the way, and we're going to do our centers. And I think on our centers, all I'm going to do, well, I'm going to work on our leaves a little bit more with some coloring. You won't have to watch that. Rich can fast forward through this part too. But I wanted to make our leaves just a little bit more, you know, part of the picture. And by coloring them in a little bit, I think you get that. And what I thought I would do is just put some little dollops and these little lines that are in the centers of all of these, and hopefully I'm putting some gold, it's Florentine gold, Martha Stewart glitter. Not crazy glitter, just somewhere in the middle. And then this is my paper that was my trash from before. I'll just I'm going to wipe the excess glitter off, because you don't want a ton of that glitter. You just want, you know, just enough that it shows up, and I think it does. I think it's nice. Maybe I'll put some crystal effects on my flowers. Okay, so let's put some glossy accents on the flowers. Once I put the glitter down, it made my flowers just look a little bit, I don't know, dull. But what I wanted to show you was how much of a difference that made. I think it really, in dimension, it's a one-layer card, but now it looks like it's got a real puffy, I don't know, it's really cool. I really like it. We just ran a strip of washi along the top of our, I guess it's the bottom of our flap of our envelope. So we'll stamp it with our, I made this for you, and I'll be right back as soon as it dries. I'll be back and show you the finished product. Okay, so here it is finished. I really like the way the Crystal Effects, or whatever it was that I used. Let me find it. Yeah, Crystal Effects. I really like how that really added dimension and shine to the card, and I think it really made it look a lot more elegant. I hope you give this technique a try, and watch out for my next Jennifer McGuire video. It's going to be on stamp tracing. I hope you enjoyed this and will give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell one friend about me. I would really appreciate that, because if you tell one friend and they tell one friend, we'll reach my goal of 3,000 subscribers this year, and that's really a cool thing. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.